Hey, well, what do you know? I'm here with head coach Dan Widener. Coach, it's great to be back here at Clinton Hurdle Field, and it's especially great to be back here for the occasion with which is occurring tomorrow, and that's a trip back to the Final Four for the Merritt Island Mustangs. They've the second time since 2018. Coach, you look at this program over the last couple of years and the things that you've accomplished here, your staff has accomplished here, your players. It's the winningest team in Brevard County over the last 2 years. Um, you look at this team, and yeah, you got some great players on it, but it's hard to pick one above the rest. You know what I mean? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's that's what I was talking about the other day to somebody. Someone asked me who I was throwing. I don't know. I mean, that's not playing close to the vest. That's truly, I don't know. I don't think I can go wrong. I mean, Jacob, Ed, and Nick are both throwing great. I can't decide between the two. I don't think there's one right answer. I don't think there's not a wrong answer. Aiden's been great out of the pen. Shane's been great out of the pen. I think we're set for the 2 days. Hopefully that we're there. God willing that we're there. But yeah, even with the lineup, it's not one person. It's not like that person goes 0 for 4 and we're screwed. It's kind of every night it's a new person that jumps up and gets that hit, or that person that gets on base and does something that starts the rally. Shoot, we have 8 seniors that start and 1 freshman. And early in the season, it was the freshman that was igniting a lot of rallies. The last kid that you would guess. But Liam was carrying us early on as far as starting rallies. He would get the big knock early to kind of get us going, because the seniors are looking around like that wasn't supposed to happen. We're the ones with the hundreds of at-bats of experience, and then here comes the freshman jumping up and hitting one backside, and then everyone's jumping up and knocking him in. And it's been great. Like I said, this group has been phenomenal for years. It's crazy that it's here already. But it's a perfect ending to their careers.
And the commitment too. Isn't graduation taking place? Are they going to miss graduation?
They are, yeah, and they're okay with it. I know parents probably are a little bit, probably heartbroken over a little bit. You want to see them walk up on that stage, and the school's going to do them right. They're going to have their own special graduation on the 28th. They'll have they'll get to go in their gowns, and they'll have their presentations and diplomas, and people. It'll be in the auditorium, and it'll be a special occasion. It'll be great.
That's great. All right, so you approach these things. You just talked about it. You don't know who you're throwing yet, but as a manager, and we have seen Final Four games by great teams lost because of this decision right here. Who are you going to throw? What's going to be the determining factor in who you throw in this one?
Well, I combed through South Walton yesterday. I feel Nick has the equalizer to lefties. Jacob's tough, don't get me wrong, but Nick has pretty devastating changeup to lefties. So I got to do a deeper dive into Cardinal Gibbons and Mulberry, because there's really no turnaround. No. I mean, we're playing late game Tuesday night and coming around Wednesday and doing it, so there's no time for. So that was my homework tonight. After they have another thing tonight called class night, so that's why we're practicing early today and jumping in there and doing class night. And obviously I have a daughter, Dahlia, that's going to be graduating too, and she'll be missing it and be honored that same 28th night. But that's what's going to go into it. And I know there's the camp that you have to get there first to win it, and there's something to it. And I've always said I was not in that camp. I guess we're there to win it. Right. And I think the matchup is what you have to look at. You can always throw your best guy that first night and give yourself a better chance of being in the finals, but you're not just going there to be a finalist. You're going there to win the thing. So I'm looking at the matchups of it all, I guess, and if that puts me on the minority side of it all, then so be it. But I need to look at the lefties of it all, because Nick's been, Nick's a Division I pitcher, Jacob's a Division I pitcher, and they have Division I pitchers at the wazoo over there at South Walton. So we're going to have our hands full. It could be the race to one. It really could be.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, they have Auburn, Georgia Tech, Florida State. They have 5 committed pitchers on their staff, and they've played a really good schedule this year. And our guys accept that challenge. Like they have for years. Like I said, we've faced Dylan Jordan and
back down from it.
No, and like I said, that's the number one thing I can compliment that I've ever gotten was these guys as freshmen and sophomores. TJ Gowdy over at Satellite paid them the highest compliment I think I've ever received as a coach about my players, was that he said, looking at your lineup at that time, they're 145, 155 pounds. He said, that's the toughest Merritt Island team that I've ever seen with 2 strikes. He goes, they're not the typical Merritt Island team that you see. They're 6'2" and 200 pounds and strapping and hitting home runs everywhere. He goes, but that's the hardest. And that's when he had a couple the big lefty. Yeah, it was the lefty that we faced that night. And our kids just refused to strike out and just spoiled things. And I think ended up winning 11-3 or something like that. And they were babies. But that will always stick with me. And I've always brought that up with these guys. And that's one thing. And if you see in our locker room wall in there, we'll have to take in the clubhouse one of these days. I don't think we have. But we have 3 traits, and our first trait is toughness, and that's what 2-strike hitting comes down to. It's just the will to not give in. And the second one is discipline, and the third one is coachability. Can you be coached? And that's the whole thing with the whole new generation, right? That's the whole cold water, warm water. Everyone jumps in when it's warm, but it's hard to do when it's cold. So we try to pride ourselves as a cold water team.
I like that. I like the cold water team. Coach, you're a student of this game. I've watched you approach this game several different ways, and was just watching practice and the bunting, and here we are a day from the Final Four, and yet the fundamentals are still being stressed. Talk a little bit about the importance of reminding even the best ball players that getting one down with a runner on third, not necessarily a squeeze, but a safety squeeze, or reaching base with a bunt when you're facing a staff like you are tomorrow, how important that is.
I deem them as momentum changers. Like when they're giving you an out, you have to take it. It doesn't have to be the lead one, because that's also momentum turning, right, when you can take the lead one away from them. But if you don't get an out and you butcher that, that's momentum turning. When they want to give you one and you give them multiple runners on base, and they're probably going to give you another one, but now you're kind of up the creek, because now you're second and third, and now they can score on an out. So we harp on it all the time. We do it a lot. And Kide was just back from Florida Atlantic here, throwing the other day. Great to see him. And I asked him, do we do bunt defense too much? He goes, Coach, no way. He goes, we come back, and we don't come together as a team as much as you probably would think. But when we do, he goes, it's all bunt defense. Yeah. We do 40 minutes straight of it. And then he goes, you do the fine, perfect amount. He goes, that's fine.
That's perfect. And, let me ask you this, all right, as we wrap up here with you. And obviously you're heading over. This is going to be playing tonight as you guys are heading over tomorrow morning. This is a big game. And how do you keep this team even keel? You've played in a lot of big games. I mean, you were talking about facing Dylan Jordan, beating that staff last year in that Cape Coast Conference Championship game was huge. I mean, it was one of the most impressive performances I've seen from a Brevard County baseball team. How do you keep them even keel, focused going into tomorrow, especially with everything that these 8 seniors that are starting have coming up? This is a big time of the year.
It is, and we talked about it probably before districts, that spring sports in general, just every sport that happens in the spring, probably have, and seniors graduating, just more temptations towards outside, I guess, variables and influences that you can get than anything else. Like you're graduating, a lot of less care for school, a lot of more things going on, graduation parties, people jumping on boats, all that kind of stuff, and just you have to have that serious talk with them and reminders of, all that time they poured in that car, traveling with mom and dad to a faraway place in travel baseball, and all the time they poured into our weight room, and all the time of the hard practices in the cold, and what cold there is. Like I said, we're Northeasterners, so 58 seems good to me. But these kids, you have to remind them of all those hours they put in, and that one little rash, quick decision can throw that all away, because God forbid, you just get caught at the wrong place at the wrong time, and something like an opportunity like this gets taken away. We have that talk a lot, but these kids have been raised right. They have great parents who've been along for the ride the whole time. They've been behind me. Like I said, I've always had people nipping at the heels, and so to speak, and so to be. And these parents have always supported me, and because I'm mean, because God forbid you hold anyone accountable anymore, and have the real world consequences happen, 1 year, really 1 week before they enter the real world. And like I said, a lot of these, it's Merritt Island baseball. Like You ask them you ask them in the beginning of the year. 32 players. How many kids want to play college baseball? 28 raise their hand. How do you not prepare them for the game that they want to play? So, you're not going to go to college baseball and not get coached. So, and like Nick Saban says, the average player wants to be watched. Hey, get the trainer when I'm hurt, please. And if I do something wrong, don't tell me. The great player wants to be told, what did I do wrong? How can I fix that? And I say to the kids all the time, are you an average player or are you a great player? Great players want to be told all the time, like, how can I do that better? Like, what did I do wrong? I didn't feel right. And our kids have kind of taken on that, and it's hard because I know that a lot of the youth today don't like to be told that. They'll just push the reset, or reset, and they'll start that game over again if they don't like what they have. And these kids have taken it on, and I give them all the credit in the world. They're tough kids, and we've been battle tested, and hopefully that can get us through these next 2 days down in Fort Myers.
Coach, final thought here. What do you want tomorrow night as everybody's tuned in to the NFHS network? And right above this is one of the most extensive previews you'll see for a high school baseball game. And all the information is in there. And please click the link to watch. What's the one thing, if I said, Coach, you can only tell me one thing about this team for this moment, what would it be?
They use the term brotherhood. Like I said, they've been together so long, and like I said, they're all basically one class, a huge senior-laden team, and they've taken Liam like a little brother. Like I said, that's not easy coming in as a 15-year-old and playing with grown men, which they are now. I would say they're just a big brotherhood. Like I said, they'll hold their feet to the fire. They'll call each other out, and they're the first ones, when someone puts a sack bunt down, going out there and giving someone a hug, and it's starting to mean more. You can start to see it. Every little thing that gets done in a game, you can see them starting to cling to it because they know it's money time. Like everything's on the line.
Coach, I can't thank you enough. It's been wild watching. Yeah, it's been wild watching these guys play over the last couple of years. It really has been a lot of fun. And hey, everybody, Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network, and the Merritt Island Mustangs, of course, tomorrow night at this time will be playing in the Final Four, and I'm here with a couple of seniors who have just had simply stellar careers. To my left, Nick Wimberly, and to my right, Jacob Loeffler. And Jacob, I'm going to start with you, man. Big year for you this year. I've watched you progress over the last couple of years. Talk a little bit about why you feel like you've had the explosion this year that you've had.
First off, I always didn't have I could throw a fastball pretty good, but I never had an out pitch. And this year I've discovered 2 out pitches, and I worked hard over the summer to get my out pitches out. So on the mound I have an out pitch now, so I've been pretty dominant with my slider and changeup. So it's been good.
How fun is it to throw to discover a new pitch?
It's pretty fun because in flat grounds I love throwing them because they move a lot, and it's just it's like a kid with a new toy almost.
Nick, your career here has been amazing. The numbers that you have put up, I mean, they speak for themselves. Talk a little bit about what it means to you to get to this moment where this is a Final Four team.
It feels good because, this is the year that all the seniors have been working for. We've been here 4 years now, working together, and everything's kind of clicked now. So now that we're actually able to do it, it's exciting for everyone, and everyone's a part of it, and we've all bought in from the very beginning. So as long as we stay together, we're pretty tough. Yeah.
What is it? You look back. Was there a moment this year when you went? Your Cape Coast Conference champions last year. You have that unbelievably stupid, weird first-round game last year where the lights go off, and I mean it's just ridiculously stupid. But what did you guys learn from that game that you brought into this playoff year? Because you can always take something from losing a game you definitely feel like you should have won.
Yeah, biggest thing we've learned is that no matter what seed a team is or how bad we think they are, they're coming to beat us. So we've kind of kept our foot on the pedal and haven't really let up. So we've let everyone know that we're the 1 seed for a reason. So now we're taking it in the States and showing them that we can play.
I'm excited for you guys. I really am. Jacob, if I said, tell me about this team, mainly the seniors and the juniors and the sophomores, and they've all contributed as well, obviously. But what I want to know is, if I said you get one word to describe what this senior class is, what would that one word be, and why would you pick it?
Tough.
Yeah.
I mean, we battled through adversity. I mean, even if someone messes up, we got a guy right there to help them get their back. So it's just toughness.
How about the graduation aspect of it? I know the school's going to do something special for you guys on the 28th. A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I watched Melbourne softball go through that same process where the girls couldn't graduate. One of them, elected to graduate, and luckily for her, the game had gotten rained out, so they didn't end up playing until the next day. But I'm sure that decision was an easy one to make.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too often you get to play for a ring. And, we all bought into we want to get a ring this year, so everybody's playing with us, so we're staying together.
I think that speaks to the unselfish nature of this team. And what about for you as your senior year? I'm gonna, I'll be the one to say it as you guys get ready to go bring back a state championship. What, as you look back on your career, what are some of the special highlights that stick out to you when you're making that that long ride to Fort Myers? What are you going to be thinking about?
Just how we've played tough teams before and we've came out on top a lot, going back to my freshman year against O'Galley, where they got a handful, probably 5 Division I guys in their lineup, and I go out and I pitch well. And how we've been able to face Power 5 arms throughout the county, it's going to be nothing different there. So we got the experience and we got the ability to show that we can beat teams like that. So if we can just remember how we've been, I think we'll be strong.
FAU for you next year, right? Yes, what has Kide told you about what to expect down there?
Just a great environment. It's going to be tough, but he says that it's a brotherhood there, and it's a fun place to be at. It's a nice place to be at, and it's baseball. That's all it is. It's just baseball with the players and the coaches. Everybody just eats, sleeps, and breathes baseball.
You locked in, man. I could see it. Where are you headed?
I'm going to Alabama State.
All right. Playing baseball, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Why was Alabama State the school for you?
I had family go up there when I was younger. My mom's from there, and then it's just a nice place. It's gonna be great baseball up there. So
I went to Alabama State one time, I think, for a football game. The only thing I remember about Alabama State was all those damn hills. You'd be running a lot of hills. All right, guys, let's have some fun a little bit. The blonde hair. I need an explanation for the blonde hair. I look around. Listen, it's funny because I'm going to put the picture up. 5 years ago, and even longer, 10 years ago, I did the same exact thing. But I'm a hell of a lot older than you guys. I dyed my hair blonde for some idiotic reason, and it took forever to come out. Why the blonde hair?
I mean, for the last 2 years, we said when we get to beat the regional final, we win, and we go to states, we're gonna bleach our team as a hair. So we did it, and now we fulfilled that goal.
How do you like the blonde?
I like it. I like it.
Now, you got it cut short. You got the flowing locks there. How do you like the blonde?
It's growing on me. It's kind of hard to adapt to, but I'm getting used to it.
You gonna let it grow out, or are you going right back to dyeing it to your natural color?
I think I'm gonna put some natural color back into it.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Guys, listen. First of all, on behalf of all of us here at Brevard Sports Network, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to watch you guys play the way that you have over the last couple of years and provide a lot of lasting memories for us. And secondly, good luck to the both of you. I'm not asking you about pitching and your approach and any of that. If anybody's watched these guys pitch this year, you know what their approach is. Throw strikes, change speeds, and hit their locations. That's what they're going to do, and that's why this team is going to go bring back a state championship. For Nick Wimberly and Jacob Loeffler, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network. Hey, everybody, Alan Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network. We wrap up here from Clinton Hurdle Field as the Merritt Island Mustangs get set to head to Fort Myers tomorrow morning, actually, to take on South Walton. I get, so many baseball and softball teams. Tomorrow night on the NFHS network, and the link to watch the game is in the description of this post. And to my left is Noah Knight, and to my right is Toren Dunegan. And Noah, I'm going to start with you. Great year. First of all, both of you, congratulations on phenomenal seasons this year. You have been a steady Eddie throughout your high school career, but really seemed to excel this year. What was it for you this year that really took you over the hump?
I feel like this year I had a rough year last year, so I mean, all summer I was pushing myself to just come back better this year and just push me and my teammates just to get as far as we could.
Toren, what you have done in the postseason is incredible. I mean, you see his stats on the screen there. Talk about, I mean, you had a good year, but to have a postseason like you're having right now, how do you, how do you keep that mojo going?
I think just staying in the moment, just being me, not trying to do too much or be too big for the moment, just staying.
And be honest, man. Have you changed your socks? You doing all that? I mean, is there things you do completely the same every day, knowing you're smoking the ball the way you are?
Nah, I'm just going with it. Just
going with it?
Yeah, just dial it in.
that.
Just dial it in.
Just old guys, we don't step on lines. We don't change our socks. Maybe other articles of clothing. We won't get into that. But it's just, superstition. So no superstitions. What about you? You got any superstitions?
Not really, no.
Wow, you guys are wild. All right, let's talk about this team because this has been a fun group of seniors to watch progress to this point. And quite honestly, guys, if anybody has deserved, senior class has deserved to be here, it's you guys as hard as you've worked. You're the winningest program in the county over the last 2 years. Talk a little bit about the senior class and what it means to you.
I mean, we've been together our whole lives together, so just to have this kind of senior year and as much as we're winning, I think it's really just perfect ending for us to go out and go to states and just play the best ball we can.
All right, I want to get back to your hitting because supposedly they got 5 guys on their staff that are all D1 arms. So you change no approach whatsoever. You just what is your approach to hitting?
Everything's just the same. I just see ball, hit ball. That's all it is for me.
I love it. See ball, hit ball. I tell you what, man, that definitely makes you very easily coachable. All right, what do you guys think about the blonde hair, man? You got the curls on top there. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts there about the blonde hair.
I like it. We've had a pack on it since like way earlier on in the year. We go to states, we're blonde our hair, so we just stuck with it. Just did it.
What was the feeling on this team the minute? Well, let me go back to last year because I asked Nick this. You lose that ridiculously, I don't even know what to call it, that first game last year when the lights go out. And, I mean, it was like craziness. You lose that game. What do you take from that? Because you have to learn from losing. What did you learn from that game that you brought in to these playoffs?
I mean, it definitely fueled us. You can't really dwell on it too long. It's unfortunate, but for the first couple of weeks during the summer, I mean, that's just what we take to push ourselves through those summer tournaments. Just stick with that, and I feel like that's how we came back this year with a stronger season.
Yeah, there's no doubt that you guys did that for sure. What do you expect? When you get over there tomorrow, what's your approach to a big game like this?
I mean, we just got to come in there thinking we're going to dominate them. That's all we got to do. Just come in there, think we're the better team, and just go play like we can.
This is a program that is just, 99 and 2000 state champs. Teams like that, they had big hitters, big power hitters, superstars. Toren, this is a team that is filled from top to bottom with guys that play together. And I'm not saying they did. Of course they did. But there's no one superstar on this team. It's a team. Can you talk about that and that approach?
Well, we're just all coming together, just being like a family, just being together, just playing ball.
If I said to you, describe this baseball team, you only get one word to do it. Describe this baseball team in one word. What would that word be? You get a chance to think about it.
I feel like the other two guys might have used this one.
But go ahead.
Tough.
They did use it, and that's okay. What would you say?
I'll say we're competitive.
I like that. Tough and competitive. And you know what? It's a brotherhood, too. I mean, listen, it's a lot for a high school senior getting ready to graduate to dye their hair blonde. It takes a brotherhood. I promise you it takes a brotherhood to do that. Let me ask you this. No thoughts whatsoever about about missing graduation. It wasn't even a consideration, was it?
No, it wasn't. We're just too focused on baseball. Just dial it in, trying to go get it all.
It's what you played Little League for. It's what you did all the weight rooms for, right? no doubt. These guys are locked, loaded, and ready to go. And again, all of the information is right up there in the post. Please click on and watch tomorrow night. Brevard Sports Network will be providing live updates with a game thread throughout. And you can certainly message me. I'd be happy to talk baseball with you. So I want to thank Noah Knight, and I want to thank Toren Dunegan and, of course, Coach Dan Widener for the Merritt Island Baseball Program. I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network. Island Pride, and go Mustangs.